everyone. Welcome to 10 Minutes Astrology, the most easy way to learn astrology. Alejo, why are you so happy?
I don't know. It's not the right time because
Yeah,
we're going to
I
be
think
talking
I
about
think
Pluto.
one part of us is like when every time we talk about astrology, we'll be very excited, and
Yeah,
every
it's
time we
true.
teach or even do the chart reading, maybe 1 minute ago we were just like, but then
Yeah,
when
it's
it's
true.
on,
Yes.
you just think, yes, let's talk about astrology, and astrology always
Yeah.
gives us a power. But
Yes.
because this episode is broadcast on 11th of January, and in the same week we have a super important event. So this
Yes.
is the final call for boarding on Alejo and David Costello's Pluto in Aquarius webinar theory on the start date 14th of January, 1 p.m. UK time. If you want to know what's going to have influence on you for next 20 years, because Pluto will stay there for 20 years, it's very important to understand his message and to understand how to living with it. So it is a very important webinar. Please join us, okay? And the link is here, so please join us. So Alejo,
Please.
today we're talking about a planet has a very interesting character, right?
Yes. Hades. So, as we were saying in another episode, Hades, Pluto.
Yeah.
At some point, Zeus and his brothers, they had to split the kingdoms of the earth. So Poseidon got the sea, and Hades got the underworld, and Zeus got everything else.
Yeah.
So Pluto this planet represents our connection to the underworld. Now, the underworld in Greek culture is not hell like in Christian culture.
Yes.
Everybody who dies goes to the underworld. It's not that the evil people goes to the underworld. Everybody goes to the underworld. Then within the underworld, you have some areas that are nicer than others, but everybody goes there. So it's a realm in which we connect with some. So first of all, he's the Lord of Death in some ways, right?
Yeah.
So he's the one who rules over like who will go into the underworld. So that might be one of the meanings of Pluto. One of the meanings of Pluto might be the idea of death, and you can take this in a more symbolic way, like and think of all of the deaths we go through in our lives. Like when you when you get married, you stop being single and you start becoming married. This is a passage. This is something of your personality gets transformed. Something dies in order to give birth to a new identity, right? When we go from child to teenager to adult, these are all different deaths that we go through life. So that would be the first idea. And then, the Greeks feared Pluto. They didn't like him so much. So you don't have any temples for Pluto except for Elefsinia. It's the only place where you have a temple for it. And it's because they were scared of him. So Pluto, when he would come to the world, he would use a helmet that would make him invisible so that people will not see him. So there's also this idea of Pluto which has to do with being invisible, being secret, something magnetic. And the underworld, if we take it in a symbolic way, is this place in which we hide things that we don't want to see because they are too intense, they are too dark, they are too strong. So Pluto may be related to all of that, the idea of things that are hidden, things that are intense, things that are transforming, things that connect us with this darker force of nature, which could be destroying what we know, but that it's a necessary step in order for something else to grow, right?
So let me tie up for what you say. When we look Pluto in the chart, we can relate it to underworld death, but not only the physical death. Could be the ending of any period of time of our life. It could be ending of a relationship or ending of a certain thing. Like you graduated, you finished the school, or you leave the company. That's the ending of something. And also it could be a kind of a very intense, very intensive, more feeling like life-death situation. Usually we can also call it crisis, a huge crisis are related to Pluto. I think usually the things that like you say the underworld. So the things is that literally bury under the world, or the in the mythology those life after death or all things related to death are related to the Pluto. And one thing I like to interesting, but I don't think most astrologers use it, even me, is like in Roman mythology, they see Pluto as the treasure, guardian treasure of the underworld.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So maybe it's another of a meaning in the chart. You can like you're going to discover your hidden treasure.
Exactly. I agree. If you face Pluto, if you go to your underworld,
Yes.
you will find your treasures. Yes.
Yes, cool. So today, how about we use the chart to help our audience understand the Pluto meaning in the
Yes.
chart? Okay, I will stick with Mozart because he has a very interesting Pluto.
Great.
So here again, hello Mozart, because I like his music, I like it, I
Wow.
like his story so much. But when you see his chart, you will see he has the Uranus at the angle. He has a Neptune opposite Sun. Then he has Pluto conjunct the Moon.
Yes. Wow.
And in four house, a kind of a double whammy, to be honest. It's like keep repeat a similar things. So Alejo, do you want to start talking about this Pluto in a four house or
Okay.
Pluto with the
So
moon?
I would say I will focus more on Pluto in the fourth for the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
But I think it's nice if you want to make some comments on Pluto Moon, so we can start introducing the idea of
yeah,
aspects, which is
yes,
something that we
cool.
will develop soon.
Yeah.
So Pluto in the fourth. So this idea, Pluto in the fourth. So the fourth, we said it's childhood, it's his past, it's his family, where
Mm-hmm.
he comes from, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
very hidden place of his personality, right? So it
Mm.
means that probably in his childhood there were situations in which life and death was felt as being, being at, like there were life and death situations. Now this
Mm.
could be literal or it could be a subjective. Remember, we do psychological astrology. So this is
Mm-hmm.
his feeling. His feeling is that there was some dark, strong force
Mm.
during his childhood when he was a kid that was very, very powerful, that could overtake him. And so
Mm-hmm.
down deep inside, this force is now, I don't know if I would say a friend, because it's hard to have this kind of friends, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a known force, it's a known energy. So down deep inside, he has this huge capacity for intensity and
Mm.
for achieving positions that require a lot of power, a lot of energy driven
Mm-hmm.
into something. Now, there's also this idea with Pluto. We said this idea of death and transformation, or crisis and
Mm-hmm.
transformation. So we can imagine that in his past, there were a lot of scenes of crisis and transformation, very intense scenes. So
Mm-hmm.
again, this becomes for him a comfort place, even though it's for many it may sound like strange. If he has Pluto in the fourth, it means that the idea of going to the depths, going to things that are profound, going to things that are deep, for him is a natural thing to do. It's because
Mm.
for him it's natural to go to the underworld because it's
Mm.
so prominently placed, this Neptune. So we could imagine that he has a natural ability to either hide things or expose things that are hidden,
Mm.
so things that are in the underworld, and to catalyze crisis and transformation. It's like
Mm-hmm.
his basic core, where he stands from in life, is from this idea that life is not the same, that life is changed, and life needs to
Mm-hmm.
be transformed in order to
Mm.
be to survive, to
Mm.
thrive. We need transformation in order for life to thrive. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Another way to talk about Pluto, I like to add it, is like when we talk about Pluto theme, doesn't matter about that we talk about Pluto sign or the generation, this generation of people, or the Pluto house, like for more stuff in fourth house, or even the aspect with Pluto. Usually, I like to use the word called rediscovery, rediscover.
Mm.
So like a four house is a family place for family or the place for his own house, and his relationship with his parents. Then this
Mm.
suggests that the Pluto in the fourth house he needs to go through a process, a slow and a long, and maybe there is the little bit character of the crisis or painful, maybe not, but somehow it's intense, very intense. Even the love in that place, it will be super intense to rediscover the what does a family mean for him. And that would be the things I usually will focus on. Then you can talk about the Pluto in Sagittarius and think about the Sagittarius related to maybe the culture, foreign relationship, or the belief system. Then so he may need to have a journey of rediscover of this kind of thing. One thing I feel interesting is this aspect. I don't need to show you, but you already see his moon and Pluto is just 1 minute apart. 1 minute
It's incredible.
apart. It's incredible tight. I don't know about his family. I don't know about his mother. We never talk about his mother anyway. But
Which
interesting.
makes sense, being Pluto is like the hidden parental figure. You know, it's like it
Yes,
becomes invisible. We only talk
yes.
about his father.
Yes, yes, indeed. And we didn't talk about his mother. And maybe we'll check later. Maybe we will notice it. We never see his mother, maybe. But interesting in his story about the magic fruit, a character that nobody will ignore is the mother. The mother figure in the magic fruit called Queen of Night. And she has the two aerial that so intense, so powerful that everyone, when they heard about that opera, they will never forget because Mozart give a highly impossible task for that. That soprano has to sing in the very, very high pitched note
Yeah,
in
she has
as
to
a
come up
challenge.
and down. Like it's very
Yeah,
hard. Yes.
like that. And every time I remember first time I heard about that piece of music, I was so intense,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
intense, and so powerful. And the story, once I learned the story, is about during that time when she's singing that song, she is threatening her daughter.
Yes. It's
She
very
threatened her
Pluto.
daughter.
Yes.
You are not my daughter if you don't kill that man.
Yeah. It's
That is
very Moon
Pluto.
Pluto. Yes.
That is very Moon Pluto. But if you want to know how to do the interpretation about the Moon Pluto, please follow us because very soon we'll talk about the aspect and how to delineate. And we will definitely, I think when I talk about Pluto, I will come back to this chart because I love this chart so much. But here is the Pluto about the life stage situation related to mother or the kind of crisis relationship with the mother, or very intense family relationship in that opera. Not his life, maybe in his life, we don't know. But in the story he wrote, in the music work he wrote, there is such already reveal it. That's why I say you can always use the some story from your favorite writer or performer or or creator, the story, and then read their chart to work with their work, and that would be so interesting. I don't know if you have anything you want to add it on in this chart.
Mm. No, I think we've covered a lot of things. I think it's
So
very
should
powerful.
we?
Yes.
Yeah, should we give a little bit exercise?
Yes. So we thought of Pluto in the fourth. Let's do the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. Now, people should think of Pluto in the 10th. So in the
Oh,
fourth, this is hidden. This
yeah,
intensity is
yeah.
hidden. People might not see that of him. When they see him, they see all of the other characters. It's very hidden. But what
Mm.
happens if Pluto goes in the 10th? Remember, the 10th is our
Ouch.
social role. It's like what we do in
Mm.
society, what we want people to look up at us for. We want to be
Yeah,
admired for. So what will
yeah.
happen if Pluto is there?
That would be so interesting and not easy. Okay, so thanks for watching and listen 10 minutes astrology. Today we talk about the Pluto, and also we use the Mozart chart. I think we are very familiar with his chart now. Maybe next time we should choose a new example. But I really love this work, and especially working with Alejo. It's always pleasure. So if
Always a
you
pleasure.
yeah, if you like our podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please, we are very welcome to join our 10 minutes astrology group. We always have a discussion there. We always have our event. If we're going to have an event, we're going to announce there. But one more thing, and one last time, this is a real final call. So, the 14th
Saturday
of January.
14th.
Yeah,
Yes.
14th of January, Alejo and David Costello going to have a webinar talking about Pluto in Aquarius. We just talked about Pluto. You have to know it has a strong impact in people's life, and you have to know how when Pluto in Aquarius is going to have an impact on you. Please join us, join Alejo and David to discover how Pluto in Aquarius is going to have an impact in our life. So, and next week, Alejo, should we talking about Chiron?
Okay, let's do Chiron. Yes.
Or should we just ignore it?
No, let's do Chiron. Okay, let's do Chiron. Yes, next week Chiron.
Okay, next week we will talk about Chiron, the wounded healer. It is very interesting. Some astrologers don't use it, but some astrologers use it. And the things I know Chiron, I love. I fall in love with it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice
yeah. Okay.
one. Yeah.
So, well, thanks everyone, and see you next week. Bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.